Hi everyone, I'm Jess, the Director of Adult Services, and I'm here to talk to you today about one of my favorite cookbooks, which is Falastin by Sami Tamimi and Wigley. This is a cookbook that is about Palestinian food, and I know Palestine is in the news a lot lately, but don't think about any of that. Let's talk about their food, which is really good. The recipes in this cookbook are really straightforward. They're very easy. A lot of us think of Middle Eastern food, Asian food, that area of the world as having a lot of ingredients that are hard to source in particular, but what I'm happy to note about Falastin is that almost everything in the cookbook we can find here in Spartanburg, especially now that we have the Tea and Spice Exchange downtown. But a lot of the stuff you can even find at your local Publix or Bilo, like sesame seeds, Aleppo pepper you can find at the Tea and Spice Exchange. There's lots of different options to work with in the cookbook. The main author, Sami, grew up in Palestine, and his friend Tara is along for the ride as someone who's brand new to cooking with Palestinian food. And that really comes across in the recipes. They're modernized Palestinian recipes, so they're not super duper traditional, but they still have a lot of Palestinian flair to them. My favorite recipes in this cookbook, I feel like every time I make one, it becomes my new favorite, and it's the only thing I want to eat over and over and over again. And finally my partner is like, can we please try something else, because he gets bored with it, but I would eat it every time. There are some great recipes in here. One of my favorites is the lemon chicken with za'atar. Super easy to put together. It's really just throwing like 10 ingredients into a bowl overnight, and then the next day putting it on a sheet pan and cooking it for 45 minutes. Roasted garlic, roasted onions. If you've never had a roasted sliced lemon before, it is a thing that you need to do. The center becomes really, like, it still has a sourness to it, but not as much bite, and the outside becomes caramelized and almost sweet. It's an incredible flavor profile. I highly recommend this cookbook. There's over 100 recipes in here, and a lot of the food that is in the cookbook isn't spicy, or it is spicy, but it isn't hot. And that's the kind of thing that I love. I can't stand hot food. It's too much. I can't do the heat. I can't even do like red pepper flakes. It's not my vibe. But in Falastin, a lot of the recipes are really spicy and flavorful without having that heat, which is what I love. So I highly recommend this cookbook. If you like Ottolenghi's work, flavor, vegetarian, Jerusalem, any of that stuff, you'll really like Falastin. He actually wrote the foreword for the cookbook, and he taste tested all of the recipes along with the authors, so he really knows what he's talking about, and he loved these recipes. I also highly recommend Victuals, which is a cookbook about Appalachia and the food history and the food journey of the Appalachian region, because it talks about that area and the specific food history and food culture there in a similar way that Falastin does, because Falastin highlights how a lot of the food in that area came to be, who does the farming for it, and the butchering, and what kinds of food that they have there. So this is a great learning experience as well as an excellent cooking experience. If you haven't signed up for summer reading yet, I highly recommend you do. It's super easy to do. 9 hours or 9 books of reading. You'll get that done. You'll come back and you'll win a prize, which is pretty amazing. And you can actually use it while you're working on your recipes in Falastin. It's this great little cutting board. So you can chop up your garlic, you can chop up your lemons when you're making the lemon chicken. I highly recommend doing that because it's really good. So if you haven't signed up for summer reading, please come on in and do so, or print out your card at home. If you're working on a recipe in here, you can even count that toward your summer reading. So we'll see you soon. Bye.